Hello and welcome to the Bonehead Podcast. I'm Ben and today I'm joined by Ian.
Hello.
Rich has been distracted by real life and Ian has agreed to return to the show for a bit to help us out. So Ian, can you tell us what we're talking about on episode 26?
Absolutely. So we're going to be looking at how to introduce new players into existing leagues and then sort of where people are coming from in terms of joining a club maybe.
Yeah.
And different formats and things that can maybe help that. We've also got a bit of a preview of the Tombstone Tournament.
Yep, so our tournament is on the 26th of October and it's specific horror demon chaos teams. So
Spooky.
thought we'd talk about that.
And then we've also got our usual games, hobby and a bit of a rundown on a star player.
Yep, which should be really, really good. Fantastic. Thanks, Ian. Right, let's get cracking. So, first things first, Blood Bowl news. Okay, so this is where we cover what's occurring in the world of Blood Bowl. Ian, seen any Blood Bowl news recently?
Yep, so the big one from Games Workshop is obviously the Lizard Man team coming out.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been waiting on it for a little while.
Yes, yeah, and we obviously love a good Lizard Man pun. So we've got the guacamole crater gators.
Right, let's bring it up and have a quick look. I'm assuming everyone out there's seen it because literally the moment it went live on the spoilers about a month ago or something, it was on the community absolutely everywhere. And then when it went live on randomly Sunday, it was just randomly Sunday afternoon. I was just driving back from Games Workshop, and I never did get your paint. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Dryad bark, can wait.
Yeah. There's threads on Facebook and Twitter and our group chat and the big Blood Bowl group chat on WhatsApp as well about it, which is really, really cool. What do you think of the team?
Yeah, I think on the whole, pretty good. I've got a few gripes.
Yeah.
But we'll start with the positives. I mean, look at those turn markers.
The turn markers are amazing with the little slan.
Yeah, slan totems are absolutely fantastic. The kind of snake egg balls are pretty cool touch as well.
Cool. I love the tokens.
Oh yeah.
The Mayan
sort of Aztec-y.
Yeah. It looks literally like Spanish invaders have robbed these coins. It looks perfect.
And yeah, having seen the pitch,
yes,
which I'm sure we can have a look at in a minute.
We'll bounce back to that in a moment. Models wise, I really love the skinks.
See, I'm a bit undecided.
Really?
Yeah, I find the heads a little bit sort of goggly-eyed and a bit big for their bodies.
I think the paint job probably doesn't help that a little bit.
Yeah.
The one in the middle, his face looks quite pointy. I don't know. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
I really like the headdresses, to be fair.
They're cool, aren't they?
They're really cool. The chameleon skinks are fantastic.
Great. That guy with the tongue coming out and grabbing the ball, even if his hand does literally look like a Lego man hand.
Yeah, but have you seen a real chameleon? They actually look like that.
I've seen the picture of them holding like axes and swords.
Yes.
It looks so cool.
Very
and they are Lego swords as well, which is great.
Oh, brilliant.
The Saurus, the Saurai.
Saurai, yeah,
Saurai.
however you want to say it. Again, I do like them. They're good, bulky models. Undecided about the grills. I do think they look a bit brace-like.
Oh, the mouthpiece things.
Yeah.
I reckon you'll be able to cut them off really
That's
easily. That's
probably what I'll do.
I will do the same, I reckon. Unless they're integral, which would be a real pain. Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm thinking it would be cool to actually raid the bits box and maybe on a few of them add some sort of jawbones from kind of creatures to kind of... So you've still got a bit of a helmety look.
So the Games Workshop skull kit comes with a bunch of stuff like that, I think.
It does. It's whether some of them would be big enough, because it obviously comes with a lot of human skulls, animal skulls, which again would be great for kind of adorning the team.
Yes.
But it does come with some of the bigger skulls, but I'm not sure if they've got jawbones, in fact.
Rich used some bigger jawbones on his Chaos Dwarf team for his nipper. And he used the jawbone on the goblin.
Yeah.
But then a goblin's jaw and a Saurus's jaw are very different size.
Yeah, so... But definitely a lot of potential in this team, and the posing is really dynamic.
So there's been talk everywhere about the extra positional.
Oh yeah.
So the book comes out a week on Saturday, which is the 12th, I think.
I don't even know what day tomorrow is.
So yeah, it comes out on the 12th. We're recording on the 14th.
Yeah.
So we will go through the Spike magazine, the positionals, the impact, and we're going to drag Lewis, who has done a very good job with lizards in a league and won our last local club. So we're going to get him on to talk about the impact of the new positional and things like that, which will be really cool. So clearly the chameleon skinks are likely to be a new positional, but those two skinks with headdresses, I wonder if there's going to be another positional there as well, or whether it is just a design element.
I'm going to say it's a design element. I'm just trying to kind of look at the models, because if you look at the skink bodies,
they're the same, aren't
they're
they?
the same bodies
with alternate heads,
with different head options.
Yeah.
So I think that will just be another kind of head option. There may be a couple extras as well.
Well, I tell you what, the fact they've got alternate heads is fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that with the Nurgle team. Actually,
so the Nurgle's got alternate heads, and the halflings, and the Chaos team technically had alternate heads, but they were marginally different for the Warriors.
Okay, yeah.
So it barely counted. But all the other teams, no alternate heads, and I think it's so useful. So I'm really pleased to see that, and you know what, if that is just armoured skink head positionals, I think that's cool.
Oh, and it's going to help you identify the players as well as you're playing, you know, in the heat of the game.
Because 2 different heads, 2 different bodies, you've got 4 different models.
Yeah.
And that's all that comes to the box. The fact the box comes with 6 Saurus is great as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the chameleon skinks, again, same body,
but different heads. One with the catching the ball, one not catching the ball. They look smaller than the skinks. So I've had some great feedback on Twitter and Facebook, actually, of the ideas of this.
Other social medias available?
Yeah. A couple of people posted on Instagram. It was really good. Nothing in the Discord, but I didn't put it in there. The Strength 1. They were like, could be Strength 1. Could be something really different. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does kind of allude to the fact they're a bit sneaky.
It says they're sneaky, so we could see something like shadowing or sidestep, but Strength 1 and Titchy would be really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
And I think the thing is, that wouldn't break the team. Now, people are worried about this because lizards they're top tier. You know, they're in the top 5. And when they get developed, they are really mightier, so they don't really need any boosts. But having that different positional, like the Halfling Hefty, that is subpar, but it gives you a different option.
It's an extra.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
really cool. And it's great to see the Croxagore from 10 years ago.
Yes, you'll need this guy, says the Warhammer community page.
And he's the same size as the Saurus now.
Yeah, probably, a bit of scale creep going on there.
Yeah, not so great.
But, I mean, there's so many good third-party models.
There are.
Even the Finecast.
Oh, yeah,
Seraphon,
I bought that 3-pack ages ago. Lewis took one, Will took one, and I've got one spare.
They're still great models.
That's it, job
easily
done.
Converted.
So, scroll down and we'll have a look at the pitch. So, we haven't seen the pitch in its full flat, have we?
No. So what's on the community page is a half pitch and then both sides of the dugout.
Yes. So the pitch itself, Aztec-y as heck, isn't it? That's Aztec-y all day long.
Yeah. I think I should probably point out to sci-fi fans, look at that chevron.
Oh, that's so Stargate. That's so Stargate. That's fantastic. The one side of the pitch matches it, which kind of looks like a Mexican restaurant. Looks like the menu of a Mexican restaurant. Well, you know, quesadillas. The back side, where it's ruined Mayan temple with vines and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that side of the pitch is going to look awesome.
Yeah, it's going to look quite dark.
Now, I think I'm going to have to pick this up just because I'm a bit of a completionist these days, and I've got more disposable income than I probably should have. But you were talking about it for your Amazons.
Absolutely, I think this fits the bill perfectly for the Amazons as well. I mean, because it's not obviously you've got the kind of big snake symbol, but again, it's a very kind of Mayan Aztec-y.
It is. It's
kind of South American,
blocky as heck.
There's nothing overtly lizardmen other than that kind of cultural theme,
which is really cool.
Which I think the Amazons feed into as well.
Yeah, massively.
So
they've got
it's going to do them really
gold lizard heads and
perfect.
Things, so. One thing I really do like, I really like the dice. I think they're just blue with gold inlays. They just look nice.
Yeah, and that kind of slan symbol for the 6.
Yeah, which is cool, but
really
they look
nice.
Really they look visible.
Yeah,
they're going to be very readable, and they're just cool. And again, when you get the dice, they're £9-10. It's just a cool bit of bling for your team.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
I like that. So just close that down and have a look and see what else is going on. So the Spike magazine's coming out. The cover's fine. It's cool art. It's not super good art. It's not the same as you'd see on an AOS codex, but it is still better than I could buy.
I like it, and it's got some pretty cool whimsical touches. So if you look at the top of the title, you've got the nice frog,
the little frog on top,
and the snake slithering around. So,
lounging lizards.
Yeah, I think this is perfect. It really fits Blood Bowl.
I love it. I really do like that. The other thing to mention that they've spoiled, that'll be out soon, so when this episode comes out, I think the pre-orders will go live exactly the same day, is the coaching kit. So they've got the team card pack for the Lizardmen, which will be the same, but the coaching kit's coming out with rosters, tokens, a cheat sheet, a small copy of the rulebook with all the up-to-date stuff in, and the throwing templates.
So yeah, I think this is going to be perfect for people who maybe come to the hobby, want to start playing Blood Bowl, don't necessarily want to buy a whole box set with humans and orcs.
Because they don't want humans and orcs.
But, I mean, I think back to James, he came to the hobby, he literally just wanted to play with his dwarves.
And then bought,
I mean, that's where it started for him. But for him, to pick up a team box, and this set is the perfect introduction.
I think most of the guys at our club ended up buying the starter set, but none of them really play with humans or orcs.
No, and I mean, even now people have fallen into the trap and got all the extra pictures and.
But that's it. And now you can get there, and the rules have not been available outside of that box set. Fortunately, thanks to the great work the NAF did, the CRP is exactly the same.
Perfect.
Apart from a couple of minor things, where you can still just log on and get it. And obviously Russia is superb at providing us with PDF copies of things as well.
Nah.
Yeah. Spasiba. So they've got the little book and the little throwing templates and stuff. You pick that up. I reckon that'll be £25 though.
Yeah. It's anyone's guess really.
But you pick up the team, you pick up the spike, you pick up the dice, you pick up the pitch, you pick up this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I love those roster sheets.
They're cool, aren't they?
They're really cool.
I think they may have come in the base set, but no one's ever used them.
I mean, I can't remember seeing them, to be fair.
Well, Lewis has got our base set, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, that's probably why, yeah.
Never, ever used it.
He's got loads of teams written out.
On our sheet. So I think that about wraps it up for Games Workshop Blood Bowl news. But you wanted to mention something else that they'd spoiled.
Oh, yeah, well, for those who kind of follow Games Workshop at large and other kind of games as well, one of their other kind of side games is called Warhammer Underworld.
Underworlds. Yes.
Well, and Warcry. We've got
I thought you were going to go Warcry, but we'll go with Underworlds first.
So Warhammer Underworlds, which is a kind of a small warband scale board game / tabletop game.
Hex-based miniature war game. It's in the same vein as Blood Bowl. But
they release every so often. They get a new season and then bring out several new war bands for it.
They call them war bands, but our group genuinely ends up calling them teams. I think,
yes,
isn't it?
Because
they are
star players.
About £20, and there's about 9 guys in there.
Yeah, varies depending on. I mean, some of them are as small as 3.
Yeah.
Some of them go up to sort of 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But the big one that I saw is quite a few have been spoiled through various card artwork.
Oh,
I know. There's a Nurgle set coming, by the looks of it.
Yeah, we haven't seen the models yet, have we?
We haven't seen the models, but judging from the artwork, I think there's going to be some potential for star players on there.
Yeah, definitely. And talking of Underworlds, the ghouls.
Yes, I saw you. Ben made a meme.
I did. There's one ghoul that's pointing and he's got an axe in his right hand, and I edited the axe out and put a little American football.
Edited's a bit strong.
Yeah, I literally in paint on the iPhone just coloured it in and put an emoticon of the ball, the emoji, and which I think played out really well. And it looks brilliant as a thrower. And you pointed out that the other guy with loads of bones on looked like he would make a great star player as well. And the really funny thing is, these Underworld kits they are about £18, either from Games Workshop or from retailers.
Yeah, they do sell third party as well.
And one star player from Forge World is £20.
Yeah.
So actually, you pick up this box, you've got 2 cool star players, whether they're actually represented in the game or whether you just put them into your team and develop them that way. But it makes your team look better.
Yeah.
And you get some toys to play with.
Yeah, I mean, and a big shout out to one kit, which I think I mentioned on the Goblin episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Zarbag Skits,
which
awesome. Is the Night Goblin.
Best fanatic around.
Exactly.
Best fanatic around.
It's a perfect fanatic for your team. You get a wizard, so you've got a head coach or a wizard if you want them. and just some other players to have a bit of fun with, whether you want to kind of put them in the crowd, put them as markers.
And you get squigs that you can use in a squig team.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Stunty League or Fumble Secret Team, which is quite cool. So, the only other Games Workshop thing I can think of is that big Yeti.
Oh yes, so Warcry
is their skirmish game. Kind of, if you're familiar with Kill Team for 40k, they've showed this massive Yeti. It's called a
Fomeroid.
Fomeroid, well done,
Yeah, put some cream on that.
Yeah, it does sound like, yeah. So if you've got bad Fomeroids, what it does really mean, there he is.
There he is.
Interesting Chaos Sky Spore, but this guy, yeah, the Fomeroid, looks absolutely like a Yeti player.
Yeah.
Now, you did some work figuring out what size he was, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, just as a kind of rough, because it's always hard to tell from an isolated picture.
Absolutely.
How big a model is. But judging by the size of the skulls and the kind of looks like the width of the base, we decided in our group it was probably on a 60mm.
Yep.
So what I did was just had a rough match up with some other models I knew as a bit of a reference point. So one of them was the
Meganob?
The
Megaboss.
Megaboss, yeah.
Megaboss,
who I know you've used as a troll before.
I've used as a troll, and he is a big model.
Yeah.
He fits on a 40, just about, 40mm base, which means you can play in Blood Bowl. He is a tall and wide model, which takes up a lot of space. And this guy's bigger.
Yeah, I think he's, potentially even like an inch taller.
Yeah, and a bit broader. Now, that said, there's plenty of room on that base, so I reckon you can fit this. I'm going to be fitting this guy.
You fit a player under his arm?
Well, yeah. Well, that's it. He will definitely fit on a 40mm
actually,
base.
I mean, he is going to be plastic, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So a bit of a repose would probably allow him to fit in a bit.
I don't even know what team I'd use him in, but it's going to happen.
It is a great model.
It's a cool model. It's a cool model. Let us know what you think of these News Games Workshop spoilers for models that aren't Blood Bowl models, because I think a lot of people are quite interested in it as well, and that brings out that other aspect of Blood Bowl, which is just so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a small team, so
every model is a Blood Bowl model if you think hard enough.
Well, that's it. Well, yeah. Hey, I'm well on board with that. And if you're a Blood Bowl 7s player like me, every one of these models just makes you want to get 6 other guys and just have a cool themed team.
Definitely.
Which is really cool. That, I think, wraps it up for Games Workshop spoilers.
Yep.
Would you bring up the news page and see what else we had to talk about?
Absolutely. So we have got some dwarves coming soon from Fanath.
Oh, the Fanath dwarf team. So you've probably already seen this on Blood Bowl Community and other things, but this is the classic style dwarfs, and they are classic style dwarfs. They look like the Dungeon Bowl team from 2nd edition.
They really are cool.
It's the heads, both the size of the heads and the helmets, and the death roller.
Oh, it's brilliant. I think this is probably the one kind of iteration of the dwarf team that I've seen that has actually genuinely made me, put my morals aside and think I could play dwarves.
Well, that's it. It's because it looks so classic, and they look footbally, but they still have. One's got a pipe. We've got the wings for the blitzers.
Got a kicker.
The kicker doing the classic
couple
kick
of kickers,
pose.
in fact.
The dwarf troll stairs look great. One's got an eye patch. It's just so classic. And that dwarf roller looks very similar to the original. But because it is Fanath, and they did a superb job on the not Game of Thrones stuff, we know that these will be a decent size, so they'll match hopefully with the new 32mm scale 2016 models. But it just gives you a brilliant alternative to the Games Workshop team. The Games Workshop team is great. You painted at least one.
So I painted James's, and one thing I was going to comment on when we're talking about kind of build quality was the death roller.
Yeah.
Because the death roller I remember from Forge World was a bit of a pain in the proverbial.
Not as bad as Deep Root, I think, which is in about 40 pieces.
Oh, yes.
But it's definitely up there.
But with this Fanath team, they've shown the cuts.
Yeah.
Sort of production cuts. And it looks like it's going to be really nice and easy to sub-assemble.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's in 3 pieces.
But, I mean, just being able to paint the crew separately, being able to even kind of take the wheels off and stick them on after, so you can get in on that seat.
That's a proper old school Games Workshop design, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
I think it's fantastic. And that goes live on Monday the 7th of October. So when this episode comes out, you've only got a couple of days. So you would have spent your money on the Blood Bowl pre-releases. The good thing about Kickstarter is it will probably run for a month, so you might just be in time for next month's payday. But I'm going straight away. Would you just pop up the picture of the actual models there? Look at that. Look at that. That looks absolutely great.
Really cool. Do we know what material they're going to be?
FANAF do metal stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think some people aren't overly pleased with because they prefer resin and plastic. But you know what? Back in my day, everything was made of stuff you weren't allowed to eat. And
dwarves don't often go down anyway, so you don't have to worry about chipping.
Exactly. And you know what? We never ate the models. We ate the paint.
Yes, yeah. Licked many a brush in
I can still taste the yellow foundation paint to this day. It was incredible.
That was a dark time.
No, these are cool models. They're cool models.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that. So let's have a look at what else. So the Hungry Troll Squig team, which we don't really have any pictures to show. I'm going to hopefully find one to slap on the YouTube version of this podcast. It's the Hungry Troll Ixodoys Squig team. 11th of November that comes out. So hopefully we'll have more information ready for the next episode or the episode after that, but so we can get some good details.
I'm looking forward to seeing those. Haven't seen them myself yet.
It looks like it can be used as a standard team, but there's a lot of squigs and there's a lot of different sized squigs. So it looks like one of those toolkit teams where you can go, these are my Norse guys and these guys are this is this.
Okay, yeah.
And we've seen those Kickstarters quite a lot and they tend to do really well. It is cool. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, more squigs is more better. So
I do think you'll like that. So, other news. We had the Chaos Factory previews come through. I know you got a chance to have a quick look at that before we recorded tonight.
Yeah, I had a great little rummage through that box and
box
extremely
treats.
Jealous. I think Ben is living the dream.
Well, I'm putting them aside. I'm very good. They're going to go towards prizes for tournaments and competitions through the page because definitely going to be winning those competitions through the page. But
best Ben.
Hey, we've got like 4 in our club, so
that's true. It's probably one of the hardest awards to win, actually.
Yeah, and but the quality of them is really superb. So if you haven't had a chance and you're interested in Blood Bowl gubbins, have a look at our YouTube page, and you'll see me getting to have a rummage through some of the Chaos Factory stuff. That's really, really cool. Probably my most exciting bit of news is finally we pulled the trigger, and Jack from Maelstrom Gaming Mats, who built and designed my sevens pitch. Yeah. So the sevens pitch that we gave away as a prize at Sewer Bowl, and I used it for YouTube and do all the filming. Yeah. He tweaked the design, made it a little bit better, and has basically sent 10 copies to me here in the UK. So those will go on sale in our shop when I get back from holiday next week, so the end of next week. And I'm really pleased with the design. You've had a quick look. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think there's some really nice, just kind of what I would call quality of life changes.
Oh, yeah.
So we played on the other mat, the original mat, the other day when we were filming some more sevens. But yeah, just some little nice touches. So some of the orientations have been changed just to kind of make it that bit more user friendly.
So whichever way you're looking at the pitch, the numbers kind of, you can read them, and it's a tiny change. It doesn't matter too much, but it does help.
It really helps.
Yeah.
And I mean, and one of the big things is just having those kick-off results, but not only what they're called, and then having to think, I've got to look up in the rule book.
Let me look at the rule book.
It's got them printed on.
He's done a great little job of just putting the description on there, so you can be like, charge, you guys, move forward. So useful.
It's not okay, is that the one that's a bit like a blitz, or is that the one?
Yeah, and he's updated it with the new throwing template as well. Because 7 started with the full template, then changed for one edition to have a short template. It's been rechanged to the full template, and you know what? It's much more fun with the full template. So that's on there as well. He's going to be selling them in America, so for you guys out there, the other side of the pond, you'll be able to get them from him for his normal price. And when, basically I'm waiting on the bags to send them out. So when the bags get here, they'll go live. We'll be doing the same price as Maelstrom because it's a really fair price, and I want to support Jack there by selling his product here, and
I mean, lovely quality.
Yeah,
really nice kind of edges to them as well.
I'm a real fan, and one of our guys in the gaming group's already pre-ordered. Actually, 2 have.
Oh, I better get in there quick.
2 have, which is awesome. Cool. I think that wraps it up for miniatures and gubbins. Just a couple of things to notice, to note as well. You mentioned at the beginning, Tombstone Tournament, our horror-themed tournament is coming up. Yeah. 3 weeks Saturday, I think.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
No, it's cool. I haven't quite decided which team I'm going to take yet. You can't make it, can you?
Oh, I just seem to have this annoying curse at the moment where something happens to fall on every one of your tournaments. So this year, for this tournament, I'm going to be up the road but on holiday with the family.
Yeah.
And I don't quite feel I've got enough brownie points to come away from holiday to play Blood Bowl.
It's not like Helen's 7 months pregnant or anything. No, you had AOS events the last 2 times.
Yeah. That had kind of been pre-booked, and it's just unfortunately.
That's right, but you were going to take Nurgle.
I've got the models and everything, and I've started
hey.
building up a Demons of Nurgle team.
Oh, that's cool.
But I will play them kind of in our secret league at some point.
What we're planning on doing is when we finish filming 7 Super Series, Blood Bowl 7's series on YouTube, which Ian helped an episode or 2 last week. It was really good games. We're going to be doing Secret 7 Super Series. So it'll be Secret teams and Fumble teams. I know. S4. We've gone from S3 to S4.
That would be 4S, wouldn't it?
4S, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically,
yeah.
S4 is a NATO thing. So actually, if you've got those guys on the build,
yes, let's get them in.
We can get them in, and it would be really good fun. And just see how they do in 7s. So we've got that tournament coming up. We'd love to mention North Wales Carnage Cup. So last episode we had Rob on. He was talking about it. It's a 2-day event, 23rd and 24th of November in Wrexham, Wales, and it's the second one. The first one was a great success, and we really love to support Rob. He does a lot for the Blood Bowl community. He's a good guy, and it should be a really good event. They've brewed special beer for it.
Oh, wow.
I know, which is really cool. And another one to mention is on Saturday the 30th of November in Birmingham at Geek Retreat is Birmingham Bowl 4. So you went last year, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a really fantastic tournament, really nicely run, great venue.
Cool rules set as well.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, as you leveled up your players over the games,
So
you would get...
Yeah, after each game.
One would get an extra strength.
Yeah.
You could get frenzy, and then eventually in the last game, one of them had wild animal.
Oh yeah, that was really quite entertaining. Good rule set. I think it's quite similar this year, but can't recommend it enough. And the guy who runs it, Sean, also runs Mana Bowl Stunty Cup and does a great job running both. Last year they had about 30 people at Birmingham, and it was really good fun. So yeah, if you're near Birmingham and you're free that Saturday, I can't remember why I'm not, but get yourself to it, because it'll be a really good event, and get your ticket booked now, because I think they're going quite quickly. And talking of tickets and things, the tickets for Beachhead are, which I'm really excited about, 32-man tournament at the Bournemouth International Centre.
That's so cool.
As part of the Beachhead 2020 Games Convention. They'll be going live soon from their website. It's quite a straightforward build rules, but it's all set in Albion, which was an old Warhammer setting.
Yes, I remember it well. Yeah.
Oh, it was such a good. It was the first online
the land of
campaign.
mist and shadows, lots of rain.
Totally England.
A complete tongue-in-cheek version of the British Isles.
England all day long.
Lovely.
The idea is that there's 2 factions on England, and for some reason there's a political disagreement, and no one can decide what to do.
Yeah,
so
completely fantastical.
Completely uninspired by the real world. They're bringing in Blood Bowl teams to compete, and whichever side's team gets it. So cool rules set. I really like it, and you get to use fen beasts, which are swamp trolls essentially, made of the earth. So quite cool. Have a look at that. That's on our website, and we'll put out everywhere when tickets go live. But yeah, that wraps it up for news, and we'll move on to hobby. Okay, so hobby. This is where we talk about games we've played, things we've built, things we've bought. So Ian, we'll start off with you. Been playing any games?
Yeah, actually. So I've had a couple of games recently with my rather ill-fated Nurgle team.
Oh, the Nurgle team. Yeah.
So actually both against Rich, against different teams. But over the course of those games, he's managed to kill my Beast of Nurgle, or Rot Spawners.
Awful news.
Yeah, it has decreased my team value by quite a lot now, so bring on the inducements.
Getting all the inducements.
And obviously rotters are just so easy to beat around. And
with decay, they just fall apart. But they're 40k?
Yeah, they're really cheap.
Which should benefit. And if you kill a guy, you get a chance of getting another one, do you? Is it chance or just automatically?
It's not even a chance, it's just automatic.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. You just get another one.
Yes.
Which is quite fun.
At the end of the game. So you can't actually use it.
They're not as good as zombies, which you get immediately.
Yes, that's it.
But still, I think it's really thematic.
Oh, and actually, I've grown quite attached to the ones with little injuries. But they're all good fun. So yeah, but I mean the upside is that my bloaters are slowly levelling up, and they're the ones that I kind of really want to get to that.
They're such a slow build team, Nurgle.
Yes, yeah.
But the thing is, because they're tier 2 normally or tier 3 in the World Cup, they do get a ton of skills, which means you get that hop, skip and jump, and as soon as all your bloaters or Nurgle warriors have block, it's a very different case.
See, I'm playing a bit more casual. I'm going for funsies for this team.
You've gone for the glory and the SPP farm.
Yeah, so I'm not going for block straight away, because I thought anyone can give them block.
Yeah.
So I'm going for things like Mighty Blow.
Well, you know what? There's an age-old argument of Mighty Blow versus block for those, whether it's Chaos Warriors, Black Orcs, Nurgle Warriors, Saurus.
Yeah.
Because Lewis said, when he ran his Lizardman team and he gave them all block, and he was like, you know what, let's do this properly. And he was like, I kind of regret not going for Mighty Blow because you just level up quicker.
It is fun.
But it is less consistent. It's that risk.
Oh, I should also say, one good outcome was that one of my Pestigores is now Agility 4. So
that's huge.
Just having a really good ball handler on the team.
That is good. Is that his first skill?
Yes, that was his first. Yeah.
So he's going to get a couple of touchdowns. He'll be leveling up again. You can start building whatever you want.
Yeah, that's great.
Because Edge 4 Blitzer with horns, Edge 4 Strength 4 Blitzer. He's a vampire that won't kill the rest of your team.
Having played one of our Sevens games recently, I've actually really come to appreciate Wrestle.
It's great, isn't it?
I think at some point, not on the ball handler, but on another player, I'm going to try and get Wrestle.
Well, you ran Beastman with one of them having Wrestle.
Yes.
And that Strength 4 Wrestle was really good.
Great for harrying the ball carrier.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Blood Bowl games wise, you've mentioned 7 Super Series, and that is all the Blood Bowl I've been playing recently. And you know what? Well, it's been so great.
It's such a kind of rich experience, isn't it? It's so fun.
So I think I've managed to jam in like 4 or 6 games doing the recording since I last recorded the podcast, and they've all been so much fun. And I cannot recommend Sevens enough. And if you want to have a look, check out our videos on YouTube, or just go to our website, boneheadpodcast.com, and there's a big link there that says 7 Super Series. But the thing I've been really enjoying about it is the skilling up. So we've set it up so that every team gets one skill at the end of the game, and the type of skill is based on their tier. So it's only a marginal difference. But seeing those teams grow from game to game and get that skill, and having each pilot, each person playing the team get to choose one, it's been really fun. So that's one thing I really loved, and you get to see those teams. But all of those games have been fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah, that's good. So on the painting front, the Nurgle team is a kind of work in progress. So
it looks so good.
Oh, thanks. No, I've really enjoyed them actually.
So for those of you out there who don't know, Ian, or Warhannam, as we're rebranding him.
Yes, yeah. I've got a nickname now.
Yeah, he's got a nickname.
That's not derogatory.
A big E.
We've got plenty of those.
Yeah. But is an incredible painter. In fact, a multiple award-winning painter. And we've mentioned that on the show loads of times. But this Nurgle team you've been painting is looking absolutely stunning. So much so that I've now bought a Nurgle team. I'm not going to be able to paint as well as yours, but I just want to have a crack because they're so much fun.
Well, I can tell you they've got lots of cracks. Yeah. If you just turn the model around.
No.
They're pretty disgusting.
They're really good. So you're coming along with those guys, haven't you?
So I had a big hobby session the other day where I literally just laid down all of this kind of skin tones on the rest of the team. So now it's hopefully just going to be a case of picking a few positionals and doing those at a time.
The green is really well done as well. What green did you use?
Can you remember? So yeah. So if you haven't got it, the Warhammer Citadel painting app.
Oh wow,
it's actually really good.
Oh, I didn't realise it was just from the app.
Yeah, it just really helps you.
I've been telling everyone you've invented this.
Oh no,
colour green thing.
No. They've got loads of kind of swatches. You can choose to paint by colour, or you can look at specific miniature examples. So this one was just called Emerald Green, I think it was, and it just kind of lays out the colours that you would use.
It's a very bold green that goes really well with the grime of the rest. And the colour itself grimes up really well, and I think that's the thing for me. But the challenge is going to be for me to not paint them green, even though I want to paint them green.
It's such a classic Nurgle.
But it's Nurgle.
And you love green.
I do love green.
So why not?
Yeah. The cool thing is, if I get the box, I'm tempted. There might be a way of getting another box and then having two Nurgle Sevens teams.
Yeah. Because
you get 2 warriors. And actually, if you run one with the beast and one without the beast, you get that.
And what you could do with your Sevens,
is
use one Pestigore,
Yes.
And then put the other pesticles so that you've got 3 in your main team.
Yeah, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool. Painting wise, I've been working on my halflings because I was intending on running them at Tombstone, because Tombstone Tournament's got some additional secret and stunty league teams in. So I was looking at Chaos Halflings.
So, I was going to say, what makes Halflings scary then?
Well, the Chaos Halflings, they
trick or treaters.
They don't have treemen. They have Chaos Spawn.
Okay,
which is cool. Now I was intending on just using my Iron Golems anyway because they're cool. But they also have 2 guys. They're called Carvers, I think, with chainsaws.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because stunty.
So I'm kind of picturing Chucky.
Yeah, and a guy called a head carver who is just a halfling without stunty, so he's not quite so interesting. They've got a cool star player which we're going to talk about at the end.
Yes, he looks really fun. Yeah,
but I like the idea of this team, but I've now been sucked into building a Blood Dragons team. All von Carstein. I haven't chosen, but I've built 3 vampires out of some Stormcast with vampire heads.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and they are big and chunky. So I'm working on 2 teams. Haven't decided which one I'm going to take, and the tournament's in 3 weeks. But that's, as I said to somebody else,
standard Ben.
Oh, I was going to say that's 21 Fridays. Yeah. That's 21 Friday nights. Should be easy. I managed to paint 4 sevens teams in a day.
Absolutely, and they look great. I mean, just look at them on camera; they really stand out.
The quality of the camera helps me with that. The shaky, I've painted really well for a D-Day landing, but it does it. Buying anything on the list?
Well, obviously the Lizard's coming up.
Oh yeah, of course.
So the pitch is definitely on the list to go with the Amazons. I'm sure I will pick up the team at some point as well.
Because you get the 6 Sauruses, it is a £20 team.
Yes.
Even with the price hike, you get it. I think they're still about £20 through Goblin Gaming or in Toyland or something.
It's not much.
No, so a team for that amount is a cool project. I mean, that's kind of how it started with Nurgle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I like the look at them. Didn't know really much about them playing wise. Still don't.
Disturbing Presence is cool.
Yeah,
Disturbing Presence is really cool. I'm going to be on the plane when the pre-orders go live, I think. So I'm hoping that someone in the group can just chuck my order on with them.
Sure they will.
That's cool. That and the Fanath team is going to be my hobby budget and a little bit more, I think. But they're just worth it. They're just really worth it. Lovely. I think that wraps up everything hobby-wise for me. Cool. On to our first topic. Okay, so for our first topic, we are talking about new players in old leagues. So as Ian mentioned at the beginning of the episode, how do you bring new guys into your league that you've been running a while? Whether it's just new players to the game, or just new players to the local scene. And we're at a point in our local league where it's really terrible. We keep getting new people joining and want to play Blood Bowl.
Such a burden.
And it is about 2, 3, 4 a season now.
Yeah, we've done really well with kind of uptake actually.
It's so good. It's so good. More Blood Bowl is more better.
Absolutely.
And more Squigs is more better as well. I know you've got that in.
None of them have joined, unfortunately. Maybe next
season. It would be Carnage. Wild Animal everywhere. Or Bloodthirsty. No, both actually. Yeah. So we're at a point in our local club where we've got new players and we're just wrapping up our minor league. So we run 2 leagues, technically 3, but 2 main ones, which is our major league, which is for teams of any team value and any season length, and a minor league, which is up to 6 games, and it's teams that start with TV 1 million. Now, it can be an old team that's got rid of everyone and started.
So yeah, my team with the dead Beast of Nurgle,
your Carnage
probably going to be back in the minors.
Yeah, you can redraft that, but you can keep your skilled up players as long as you're TV 1 million. The idea, and so we've got new people coming in and we're escalating that, but the idea of the new league is that it takes away that inducement element.
Yes. Because
inducements are tricky. I mean, we've talked about them multiple times on the podcast and what to take and what not to take, but introducing a player to Blood Bowl is fine. I've got my players, I've got your players, cool. I know what I'm doing, let's play a game. But if they're then down players with skills and things, it's another element of, right, so I've got my players, you've got your players who are better than that, better than mine, alright, fine. But now I've got to quickly choose stuff from a list and I don't know what I'm choosing, and there's star players and I don't have models to represent the star players, and it makes it tricky. And actually a minor league for 6 games your TVs stay within 50, and it kind of introduces players to, oh, you've got 50k, you can get a keg, or you've had a terrible time, you've got 150k, let me show you how wizards work.
Yes.
Or chainsaw guys.
We saw a wizard at the club the other day, actually, didn't we?
I'm not sure if Milton actually used.
Got fireballed. Oh no, I'm on about Sam.
Oh yeah.
Sam and Will,
who were both new players, kind of, to the league. Actually, Will's nearly finished his first season, which is really cool.
Yeah.
He's a veteran now.
And I think one of the big draws of doing that kind of minor league system is that what it allows you to do is play some games with basic kind of starter teams, where you're not having to worry about what skills he got, what skills he got, what skills has he got guard, has he got tentacles, has he got this, has he got that. As well as that, it offers a bit of opportunity, an introduction to the whole thing of SPPs, which for me is the real heart of the game. Developing your team,
getting new skills and building your players is the best part of it. I completely agree.
As much as you can play a few out of the box games, for me that's not satisfactory, because you finish your game and you're thinking, well, okay, what next?
What have we achieved?
What about this character that's kind of really shown themselves, he's done some stuff.
You're exactly right.
I want him to develop.
And we spoke about that last time on the podcast about why we love it, but that identity, whether it's building a franchise or building a star, is the investment. And there are games out there, so Privateer Press, they do some lovely models, tiny legs, lovely models.
Big heads, goblins.
But the issue they have with War Machine and Hordes is that your main boss is only bespoke all of the time. You don't get to level them up, you don't get to customise them. And actually, Sigmar is kind of similar in that regard.
Yeah.
You can chuck a couple of interesting things on, but when it comes to Blood Bowl, you've got the basic, and then you just build on them, and they get injuries, and they get skills.
Yeah.
And they become yours.
Yeah, that player builds a legacy.
Yeah.
It's great, or dies.
Lewis's Chaos team, he's got an Ag 4 Chaos Warrior with dodge.
Yeah.
Like the Mega Train. This is cool, and your Ag 4 Strength 4 Blitzer of my Beastman now.
Pestigore,
I know that he's going to build that legacy like Buzz Justice on my Skaven team, who's a human blitzer on a Skaven team, but he's got Mighty Blow, Block, Frenzy, and it's just like, oh god, it's him. But you do build that up, and actually 6 games is a great window for doing that, because you end up with probably 6 guys with skills. Maybe one with 2 of them, and you get introduced to the development, you get invested in the team, and if it goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. And the other thing I really love about it is that it means the guys who already have big teams can build another team.
Yeah, which is exactly what I've done with mine.
Exactly what you've done.
Fancied starting a new team, new project. So actually, straight back into the minor league with them, but also at the same time you can run some of your developed teams as well.
In the major league.
It gives you a bit more flavour, doesn't it? A bit more interest.
But it allows our veteran players to play games with new players, and nobody is at a disadvantage. So the new player isn't at a disadvantage from a game.
From a mechanics point
of view. And the veteran player still gets the benefit of playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't play a lot of games in our league because I spend my time running through.
Ben is very good. He's running around. He's introducing
I just
people.
Want to have a great community, and we're building one, which is awesome. And I don't mind that, because that's the thing I enjoy. But I don't get to develop my teams because I'm playing intro games with other guys. But actually, if you're running a new team, like in the baby league, and you get to play a new player, you still get to build up a second team, which is exactly what you've had.
Definitely, yeah.
And now you get a choice of actually, I can scrap it and start again completely, or I can keep a couple of players and start again, or I can just go for it into the big leagues without losing your main team, and you can still play those games. So that's what we're talking about, and we've briefly mentioned one of our bullet points, which is TV difference and inducements. We're just going to explore that a little bit more. So when we're introducing new players, what do you think is the benefit and negative of having that minor league when it comes to TV difference and inducements?
So obviously you're kind of stripping back the options, you're stripping back kind of what you can do. So in terms of that kind of inducements as a mechanic, you're not really seeing that to start with.
Probably gets to about game 3, unless you take an injury, then
or you get a few lucky level ups, or you're starting. If I was playing my goblin team, I would. That is part of their kind of inbuilt identity that you want to go a little bit below, so you can get bribes, for example.
But at that point, like you said, because it's part of that team's identity, it's a part of the rules you need to learn.
Exactly, yeah.
And that introduces it in a place where it's not complete carnage, because let's face it, running any 1 million team against a 1500 orc team or a dwarf team or my Skaven team, it just isn't fun. It's just not fun for the new player, because they're like, he does that and that and that, I didn't realise, and now I've lost. Or worse, I've now played my first game and I'm going into my second game with 3 people dead.
And actually, I think one thing as well to say about inducements is, obviously is very league dependent, and it depends which rules your league is allowing for inducements.
Yeah.
But as a new player coming in, there isn't an obvious place where, let's say your league is happy to use the kind of CRP players, happy to use all the Spike magazine players and inducements, as well as the kind of BB 2016.
The 16 stuff.
It's a minefield. It is. I mean, I don't know all the star players that you could possibly take.
So what I've done to support our league is we've got a menu.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'll show,
I'll
show a picture on the screen on YouTube now of the menu of all the inducements that I update every time a spike comes out. They are literally a menu cards.
Yes,
that
that's
I
great.
Definitely didn't acquire from work, but they work really well. But also on our spreadsheet for our league, for each individual team, there's 2 star player boxes, and in that, all the star players that are eligible from the CRP, which is the NAF rules gear, and from the new BB16 stuff. But that's only useful when you're kind of at home having a browse.
Yes.
If you're in the moment on the game, you know, I need to put together a folder with all this stuff in, I think.
But I think the thing,
you're still going to have no time.
Yeah.
Because at home I'm playing, I've rocked up, yeah, cool. What's your TV? 1,500 a game, I'm $1 million. How much is Morg? You know? But you learn that, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think we've done a bit in the past on beginners inducements and what to take and what not to take. And as tempting as the Halfling Master Chef is, it doesn't equalise 300 TV.
No, when their whole team's got block, tackle.
Not a chance, does it? It helps a bit, and it can swing it, but it doesn't equalise that amount.
I mean, Halflings are one of the few teams that can pull off the shenanigans to overcome that. But for a lot of kind of more standard teams, there are times when you're just so outclassed, and even having Morg on your team isn't gonna. No. Because it's one player, and if they've got block, Mighty Blow, and Claw,
the rest of you guys are just gonna get murdered.
And Morg himself will go down.
Yeah, he's gonna get cruise missiled by some Mino bomb. But the advantages of the TV system with the inducements at a lower level are really good.
Yes.
But when you are in the zone of more than one star player making the difference, it's a bit
insurmountable
wizard sleeve moment. You've got it's not going to touch the sides, and you're not going to do anything. So on top of that, if your TV difference is big, you're going to take a hooning, and you're going to suffer 1, 2 or 3. Now, any game you can suffer a casualty. If you suffer a casualty, it's learning, and that's interesting. It's like, oh, I'm out. So we mentioned Will, one of our local gamers. He's in his first minor league, and bless him, he's doing really well with his Lizardman team, and he's going to be pre-ordering as well, which is quite cool.
Nice, yeah.
But he's had 2 games now where his Crocs has missed a game, and he's okay with it because it's part of the challenge and the story, which is really good. I imagine he'd want to quit if that was the Crocs and 3 Saurus.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Between playing an equal team and they got lucky and they killed my guy. That's a story as to I lost the game completely and I lost a bunch of guys. So having that minor league takes the edge off.
Definitely.
I think. But the downside of it is that we have not registered hardly half of the games. So the minor league, I think we've played 30 something games. Registered 30 games. 40 games all, so 10 of ours have been the big leagues. So those teams or those players or those coaches who only have one team, they do kind of lose out. That said, we have never had a situation at the club where we've not been able to give someone a game.
No. And actually, on that point, I think half of it is because people have genuinely wanted to start new teams this time around.
Which is interesting.
And I think with seeing kind of new faces and stuff as well, people want to enable that.
Yeah.
And be able to give people a game.
And we're going to have Lewis on next episode, but he's been an absolute sweetheart at just coming to the team with his major league and us saying, actually, we've got a new player, can you run Dark Elves or Halflings? And he's had a great time just running random teams and playing some Blood Bowl.
And actually, that's another thing for clubs to really consider, is just having some stock teams that you can just get out and do an intro game with, or even a league game, and so that the player gets the benefit of leveling.
We're very lucky with that. We've got some, thanks to you, and we've got some beautifully painted. So the humans, the orcs, and we've got some spare teams that we can bring along any time to teach some people. And I think that's really important if you've got a club or a league and you want to bring these new players in. While you do lose traction on the big teams and the big names, you build your community, and I think that's more important.
I think as well, what is important to remember is people are always going to go to a club, go to a league for different reasons.
Yes.
And I think we're just at the place where we're more about, at the moment, building the community.
Yeah.
I know when we first started off, I've changed as well in kind of my outlook in the game.
You've yo-yoed.
I really have, because I came in and I was like, okay, humans, I want to get really good at them. And I was doing pretty competitively with them.
You did really well.
Won the first league.
You won,
second in the next league.
Yep.
And then I thought, okay, it's time for a change of pace.
I'll play some goblins.
Exactly, and never really got back up to the dizzy heights. I mean, the Amazons did pretty well.
Amazons did really well.
Yeah.
I think I pegged you out for the
the
finals.
Skaven,
That was due to the way the league was structured that time.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It's kind of an evolving thing, and I think
it is.
It's always got to keep growing. And I'm sure once we've kind of wrapped up the minor league, once we've finished the other bits and done all our playoffs, we can have another discussion and say, well,
what do we want to do next?
What works well? What can we do next? Do we need to have another kind of bridge league between?
So we're going to run a short minor league up to Christmas.
Yeah.
The Christmas Bowl, which is literally just going to be, because we've had 2 or 3 new players who rock up who want to just start a league.
Yeah.
Actually, over a space of 2 months, we can get 4 games, I think it is, either 4 or 6 games in, and we're done by Christmas, and that is it. And then we've got the new year to either choose to just go big into the big league with everybody and drag them along, or to then know, actually, you know what, another minor league is what people want. And that's one thing I think I've learned, is that having those smaller timescales, while it can mean that some players can't complete, it means that all players can compete.
You should coin that.
There you go.
Get a t-shirt.
More phrasing, more better.
TM.
You did it.
Yeah.
And I think having that shorter period will be interesting to see, because it's easier to get there with the prize and say, this is it. And, I missed out on the finals because I only got 2 games in. But I got 2 games in, and then we're going to go into the next one anyway, so it's all right. That's the next experiment for us.
Yeah, and I mean, on that, one thing we did decide to do with this league was do away with the redrafting.
Yes.
And I think what that's been really good with is, again, like I said, players come for different reasons, but also different frequencies.
Yes.
So we have some players who are a little bit more seasonal. Perhaps they've got other...
Yeah.
So I mean, like Dan and Alex, Dan's got his bikes.
Yeah.
That he's often doing in the summer, so he's not always making it.
Alex has got this education thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
Where maybe he's coming once a month, or
it's probably about once a month.
Yeah.
For those guys.
But actually, what it means is you can still have a game, you can still develop your team, and then know that a few months later, having only played 3 games, you've got to redraft your team.
Oh, it was awful.
And
it was awful.
It just wasn't really working for our club makeup.
Because these guys can now come whenever they can, and it matters.
Yeah.
We can include them, and what they do still matters, but it doesn't matter that they're not there all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other advantage is that the guys who can come every week, so us and Rich and like the core players, they end up getting to run 2 teams in this minor league, and they get to have a great time running those teams and building those franchises, and everybody gets something out of it.
Yeah.
But when we look at the situation, if we were to go forward and say, actually guys, the minor league is gone now because we want just one pool of teams. One thing we bandied about before that I did wonder might be something we could look at is providing additional MVPs for bigger team differences, so an underdog bonus.
Exactly.
Which I think they do in Necromunda and some other stuff. Of that, you know what? If you're down 300 TV, you get an extra MVP at the end, and you get to re-roll your winnings because of actually your team gets so much exposure. that the fans are like, oh.
Yeah, maybe even, looking at a fan factor boost, because that's another thing where if a less developed team is playing a more developed team who are going to have loads of fan factor.
9 fan factor.
Suddenly they're getting every reroll.
You've lost
under the
that
sun,
fame.
Aren't they?
So, you've lost that.
And throwing rocks at everyone. And
that's it. It's every one of those results penalises that team that loses it.
So a way of somehow either equalising or at least giving a bit of a look in to.
Yeah, and I think an underdog bonus, whether it is they get +1 fame for that match.
Yeah, anything like that.
And they get an extra MVP for every 300 that's down.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what? It might be a situation where I'm going to play that team that's 1,300 and I'm 1 million, but actually at the end of it, I will get two MVPs, so I'll build my team up quicker and maybe a fan factor boost with some money. It will make the risk better. That's the only thing I thought that might help new players want to take that jump, or at least make that jump more palatable. Don't know. Have you thought? Are there any other ideas you could think that would kind of take the edge off?
No, I mean, I definitely like that, because certainly one of the things I do in kind of other game systems I do, like Age of Sigmar, for example, is if I'm playing against an army which I know completely outmatches me on Warhammer TV, perhaps.
Oh, so I was just going to say, Ian played a guy called Terry with this tier 1+ Nurgle list on Warhammer TV, which was super cool to see.
I loved it
on there.
Such a great experience.
That said, the entire game, our entire group was watching, and it was awful. And Ian, that said, I'm not sure you lost those games we played on Super 7s.
Well, no, we'll see.
It's interesting, but every other time you've been on camera.
I've not got a great history.
It's been great.
But anyway, as a bit of an aside there, So what I always try and do is kind of set, if I know that I'm not going to win that, is to kind of set my own victory conditions in my head.
Absolutely.
And so like, okay, I'm not going to win the kind of main game, but maybe I can kill that model. And in Blood Bowl, I think you can do the same.
I'm not going to win, but actually if I can get this guy a touchdown and this guy a completion, I'm at the point where I could level them up.
Exactly.
I get 2 MVPs, so I could chuck that in and that in. Absolutely. I think you've probably got that finding a minor victory from playing goblins.
Yes, yeah. If anyone doesn't know, the goblin win conditions are a bit different.
The stunty mantra.
Yes, is lose by 1, it's a draw. Draw is a win.
Well, I think if you win, you've won the tournament.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter. If you draw, it's a win.
Yeah.
And if you lose, it's a draw.
Yeah, that's it.
And if you get stomped, then it's a loss.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you're exactly right. It's like, I knew I was gonna lose, but I held you to a draw.
So
it's tough when you get held to a draw by a stunty team.
So maybe just kind of putting a few little enticements in there, like you say, extra MVPs, perhaps some kind of winnings bonus.
Yeah.
Some things like that, which will mean
a catch-up mechanic.
Yeah. If you know that your chances are pretty slim at actually winning, it gives you something else to focus on.
Yeah.
And means that you come to the club and you still have a positive experience.
That's the important thing. Positive experience and get something out of the game, especially for leagues. And I think that covers all of my bullet points. Is there anything else you wanted to add on bringing new players into old leagues?
I think it's just a case of look around your clubs, look at the people who, are really good at bringing new people in and actually introducing them to the game. Because it's not everyone's forte. Some people play hardball and they want to play hardball.
And that's what they get out of it.
That's it. Their evenings are limited. Their time's
puzzle
limited.
To solve.
They come and they want to play
for the win.
Exactly. So I think just have a chat amongst your local community and actually say who's happy to maybe spend a few sessions running kind of more basic intro games.
And I think those players naturally you find them.
Yeah. and they'll volunteer, because there's nothing worse than giving a new player a really bad experience, because it doesn't help anyone, does it?
No. My final thought is that Blood Bowl 7s is a superb way of a brand new player into Blood Bowl.
Yes.
Now, if you want to roll a regular league, they're going to have to play at least one practice game with full Blood Bowl before you go into the league, I think. But if someone's never played Blood Bowl before, running that 7s game really gets them in. And we've seen this with Will. We brought him in, and his first game was 7s, got to learn the mechanics, got to play a game. The guys who come in and learn full Blood Bowl, you tend to only get a half in.
Yes, yeah.
And Milton, again, who's been on the show and been on the podcast, he played a sevens game against Nathan, who, to be fair, plays 40k, never played Blood Bowl before. They got that game done. Nathan pulled off the win, and now he's like, Blood Bowl's great. And it's not because of the win, but you get to see the full game.
Yes. Yeah.
And one thing I'd love to do more in our club is those level ups, advertise them a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's, like you pointed out right at the beginning of this topic, that's one of the most exciting things about Blood Bowl, is developing that. And actually, I think I'm going to try and find a way to do a newsletter or something with players' skill ups.
Yeah,
so
give a little profile. And
that's it. Like, Ian's got an Edge 4.
Vestigor.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What's his name? What's his stats? We could do that for player stats or something.
That'd be cool.
Just be cool. Good gypsy cool.
I mean, as a final point.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I think what you said about Nathan, he's coming from a wargaming background.
Yes.
Now, I think on the whole, I could be wrong, but most people who come into Blood Bowl, or most people who've come into our club, have come from another war game and have some experience of tabletop games.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, if you're introducing someone who hasn't ever touched the kind of hobby at large, or been into board games and that sort of thing, you've always got in the core Blood Bowl box, if you look at the beginning, there's some little training missions, which actually just take you through incredibly simply kind of what is moving, and you're doing it with a couple of players at a time.
Yeah.
And actually, there's nothing wrong with that, because you've got to kind of come and meet people at their level.
Yeah. There are a couple of other great tools for that. One is there's plenty of Learn to Play Blood Bowl on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's the Blood Bowl game, Blood Bowl 2, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, DS, and iPad. We'll get those players caught up on the rules real quick. So we've got another guy, Sam, who's in our club. He's played a load of BB2.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. No one really needed to teach him. It's just like, I need to learn how to play tabletop, because there's this dice thing that just happens automatically.
Yes, yeah.
But actually they're like, I get it. That's what that does.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky to have all that access to help get people over that basic. But I still think sevens for the first game. Superb. But that's because I love sevens at the moment. So that's cool. Lovely. Thanks, Ian. That was good. Let's talk about our next topic now. So now we're just going to quickly talk about Tombstone Tournament. So we've got it coming up on the 26th of October, and it's horror themed. I know we've already said Ian can't make it, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But we're still going to talk about what he could have won, or the team he could have run.
Well, I'm not saying I would have won, but
well, when we look at the team,
I could have bought.
Yeah. So it's a horror themed team, which means only some of the ordinary teams can be taken, but they've kind of been replaced by some Secret League and some Stunty League teams. It's our first time banning some teams, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects attendance. That said, we've already got 8 people signed up, which is really, really cool. So, Ian, would you bring up the team list, please?
Absolutely.
It's the one at the end, I think.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So, regular teams allowed. We've got Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, Chaos Renegades, Nurgle, Khorne, so all the Chaos scary people, Khemri, Necro, Undead and Vampire, and all the undead people. So we've got demons and we've got dead, which I think is very horrible.
Exactly, yeah.
And there can be some arguments made for some of the other teams, but Rich in particular wanted to make sure this was as horror themed as possible. That said, we will pay attention, and if we run it again next year, we might just open it up.
Yeah.
But the real juice is the Secret League and Stunty League teams. So on our website, on boneheadpodcast.com, we've got the Tombstone Tournament page, and in there is the rules pack, and in the rules pack are the links to these teams, which are very, very cool. So the Secret League teams, we've got Blood Dragons, Demons of Khorne, Demons of Malal, Demons of Nurgle, Demons of Slanesh, and the Demons of Tzeentch teams. We've got the Ethereal team, which is all ghosts, which is a really cool build. We've got Kar Sabar, Larmian, Liberas, Marak, Necrarch, Numas, Resetra, Strigoi, Undead Pirates, Von Carstein, the Were team, and Zandri. So there's about 6 undead skeleton teams.
Yeah, really cool, like different themes, slightly different takes on undead, isn't it?
Yeah, some of them are garbage. It's really it's really interesting. One in particular, and that's the Carsabar, is just the most tier 3 team you've seen outside of a stunty. It's really bad. And talking of stunty, there's a couple of 3 stunty league teams that we want involved as well. Chaos Halflings, come on, it's just Chaos Halflings. It's so
great.
cool.
That's so cool.
The Nurglings team, which I know is the one you were interested in taking.
Well, it's a toss-up between Nurglings and Demons of Nurgle. So.
Okay, cool.
But I do have a lot of Nurglings.
Yeah. So, and the Horrors of Siege team, which is very cool. Everybody's got Throw Teammate, basically. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone goes for that one. We did a tiering, and the tiering is based on win percentage, which lines up with what the original tiers were. Can't remember what it was. I think it was anything worse than 40 or 45 was tier 3, and anything 50 or above was tier 1. So we stuck with the normal tiers for the normal teams. The Secret League, only Undead Pirates and Carsabar are tier 3, and the Stunty League teams are just tier 3 all day long anyway. There's some cool tier 1 teams in there. In fact, there's just some jolly cool teams there in general.
I remember actually the Demons of Slaanesh.
Oh,
they've got a lot going for them, actually.
It's a very cool team, very cool build.
So check that out, definitely.
And there's some pictures somewhere on the Blood Bowl community of a guy who used the actual new Demon of Slaanesh Greater Demon on a Blood Bowl in a Blood Bowl team, and it looks amazing. I'll see if I can't find the picture and chuck it up on the screen, because it's a very cool team. Very cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the build and some of the tournament rules. Then we're just going to have a few example teams, or at least example team lists. So one of the things is that there's a custom weather table and a custom kickoff table. Wanted to make this dripping in horror, possibly at the expense of balance, but we've done what we can. Ian, I know you had a quick look. Was there anyone in particular you wanted to mention? Because we're not going to read the whole thing.
No, but we thought we'd just talk about a few highlights.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the kickoff table, one that caught my eye was 2d6, number 6, Terrifying Presence, which is basically where you roll off, you're adding your cheerleaders and your fame.
Okay.
And the winner gets to choose either their team or the opponent's team, and basically retreat the whole team one space back.
That's cool.
It's actually really strong.
So that's the winning team. So it can be on defense or offense.
Exactly. So if you are on defense, being able to move everyone back from the line of skirmish as if they were pushed.
Yeah.
So presumably you can go into either of the 3 normal push squares directly back towards the line, or is it straight
one
back?
Square directly towards the
okay,
end
so
zone.
just the centre.
But it stretches that pitch.
Yeah.
So it can protect your players, but also it can make them a whole movement square extra to the end zone, which could be game changing. But also, it's I like the theme of that one. It's even though everyone else is scary, these guys are even more scary, and they just had to back away, which is quite cool. Ghostly Winds, I think, is one of my favourites. So would you have a quick read of that one?
Yep, so Ghostly Winds, a haunted wind, spears its way through the stadium, pushing players and the ball alike. Roll 1d8 for direction, then move all players and the ball 1 square in that direction, as if by a push result.
So I like that one because it's very similar to Flush Floods, which is the one we had at Super Bowl 7s.
Yes.
In that everybody just got moved, and it really can affect the game. Now in 7s, because there's only 7 guys, we had it so that everybody randomly got D8'd and they went in different directions, and it could mess up or really benefit you. On this, everybody gets moved by a wind, and it's a rule that we're going to be using at Beachhead as well.
Yeah.
Because it is really quite interesting.
So on that point,
yeah,
it says as if by a push.
Yes.
So if you are unlucky enough to have your player on the side of a pitch, on the touchline, you are gonna get pushed off. Yeah. So as well as watching out for Frenzy Trap, watch out for that.
And at Beachhead, it's both coaches roll a D8.
Ooh.
And it's both effects because you're playing on cliff tops in Beachhead.
So super windy.
Cliff tops of Albion. So you've got to be real careful that if that result comes up, off we go. So it could be quite cool. It worked really well at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to have that shake up.
I think anything that kind of disturbs your planning It's good fun.
Yeah, but you know it can happen,
Yes.
so you can balance it out. Any more on there that took your fancy?
Well, I think of Chainsaw Massacre, obviously a good one. Max Spleen Ripper decides to pop
Jump
into the game and
have a crack at a few
shred
players.
someone. Yeah.
Full Moon Curse is quite cool. One player on each team chosen at random are affected by the Full Moon Curse and receive Frenzy and Claws for the remainder of the drive.
Yeah.
That's quite. That could be interesting.
It's nasty.
But we try to write these in such a way that they don't over benefit one player compared to the other.
Yeah.
As we've seen other tournaments do some horrible things and they lose a reroll and stuff like that, and it can be a bit punishing. We want to punish everybody. Really.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody equal in, and hopefully they have a fun but horrible time. We're not going to touch on the weather, but it's more of the same.
Yeah.
So it could be a bit complicated, but I think it'll still be really fun.
Yeah, absolutely gutted to miss that one.
So, back to the show notes for me. Cheers. So the build. So before we go into the teams that we want to talk about, it's 1.1 million, pretty standard for tournaments. The skill packages are quite simplified. 3 tiers listed on the page. They're even color coded. Tier 1 gets 3 skills up to 1 double. Tier 2 gets 4 skills up to 1 double, and Tier 3 gets 5 skills up to 2 of those can be doubles. So you can still run your stunty team, and you can give some big guys some block and things like that. So not too disparate. The idea is we wanted to keep the skills quite simple because the teams are not.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a trade-off where if you run in a really close-knit bunch of teams that everyone knows, you can go fun with the skills. Like the World Cup, they've gone real heavy with skills. But if you're running something like Bonehead Bowl, which was our mixed team, we stuck with 4 skills across everybody, and actually it limited it. You still got some fun builds, but it was not too complicated to understand what was going on.
Yeah, and I think where there's going to be so many new and unknown teams, limiting that a little bit is a good idea.
Is quite beneficial. But you still get to build some fun stuff. Talking of fun stuff, we've picked out a couple of teams to talk through, or a bit more than a couple because there's too many to choose.
There's too many good ones.
Ian, could you bring up the Chaos Halflings? We'll start with that.
Yeah.
So this was the team I was planning on running, and I might still. It depends on how my vampires come along. Because I've got that halfling team that hopefully you guys have seen on 7 Super Series, which are halflings with chaos heads, and they just look really great. And I was like, that could be fun. These guys have got 0 to 16 halflings, 5236, dodge, stunty, right stuff. But instead of costing 30k, they are 35k because they get mutations on singles.
Yeah, you don't often see that 5k in there.
No, it's the Stunty League. The Stunty League has got 5k increments, whether it's stars or positionals. There's a couple of funky rules in there, so you'll see Secret Weapon in a minute when we come to it.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
But they get mutations out on a regular, so you can have a Chaos Halfling with 2 heads.
Oh, I reckon, having some prehensile halflings. so people can't
dodge away. But 2-headed halfling dodging everywhere on a 2+.
Really cool.
That's quite good. Or horns, blitzing strength 3 halfling for the win. Yeah. So they've got those positionals. They've got 2 chaos spawn up to 2. So 5528. So what's that? That's a slightly less armored ogre, isn't it?
Yeah.
5528. They are 140k each. Loner, wild animal, frenzy, horns, mighty blow, thick skull. So at that point, it's a Minotaur.
It's a funny one though because it's also, as you can see, throw teammate.
Yeah.
But
always
hungry. So it's also part troll.
Yeah.
With the regeneration.
And it's got regen to keep it in the game. So they're 140. So it's a really interesting positional. Wild animal though, throw teammate, always hungry. These guys are rubbish at throw teammate. Because to do a throw action, you can't declare a blitz, so it's going to be a 4+ with wild animal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they might eat them. But you get 2, so it's
and
quite interesting.
You do get 2, but obviously if you fail the one, that's your action gone, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's a really interesting team.
Yeah.
We've got 1 head carver, which is 5236, right stuff, dodge, no stunty. So he can be thrown, and he gets general on a single. But at 60k, it's quite expensive, and you can get 1. And I think it's really just to have that one player that can take block on a regular who is slightly tougher.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I'm not so sure, but the carvers are where the fun is.
Yeah, for 60k as well.
60k, yeah. It's not that great.
No.
But the carver, 0 to 2, 5, 2, 3, 6. Dodge, right stuff. No stunty, again, which is cool, but we have a chainsaw.
Hooray.
So 70k, you can have up to 2 chainsaws on the team. And like Ian said, they've got secret weapon. They've got secret weapon 7+. So these teams that are from the stunty league, they use the, gosh, I don't know, 3rd or 4th edition Blood Bowl rules, which was where different secret weapons were rated differently.
Yeah, okay.
So like a punch dagger.
So if they're more subtle,
yeah,
not going to get caught as easy.
So at the end of a drive, when someone would normally get sent off, the other coach just has to roll 2d6 and get equal to or over that.
Okay.
So at the end of any drive, these carvers are going to get sent off on a 7+ on 2d6, which is 54%.
You've got pretty good odds of staying on then, really.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this team is designed for stunty league, so it's stunty on stunty action, where everyone's armor 6 and strength 2. So
chainsaws are
chainsaws
4+,
are fun, yeah.
3+ even.
Now, the cool thing about the stunty league teams is they come with about 5 or 6 or 7 stunty league star players, which is where the build comes in. So my build at the moment for Chaos Halflings, I think I'm only running 1 Chaos Spawn, but I'm running Thundershout Gristle Gnasher.
Say that after a few.
Oh my god.
I
Talked about him actually a couple of episodes ago. 5, 6, 2, 9. Loner, Bonehead, Thick Skull, Multiple Block, Mighty Blow, Throw Teammate, Stand Firm, Always Hungry. So he's always hungry as well.
Yeah.
But you get that Throw Teammate with a Bonehead.
Yeah.
But also Strength 6 Mighty Block. Multiple Block with Mighty Blow.
Yeah, and against stunty teams.
Yeah.
That are only obviously getting the +2 on the multiple block.
Yeah.
Against his Strength 6, he's going to...
He's a beast. But even against regular teams, with Strength 3, you're still getting 2 2-die blocks.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Which could be, you chuck him on the line, punch, hopefully make that difference. And if you need a throw teammate, you've got a slightly better odds than the Chaos Spawn. There's a few other cool players, and one of them is called Mincmeat the Mad Butcher, and he's the one we're going to talk about at the end of the show.
Yeah,
because it's a very cool star player. So Chaos Halflings is probably my leading team at the moment. I know you're not going to be able to make the tournament, Ian, but you started building one, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
And we'll talk through that now.
So yeah, I have started building a Demons of Nurgle team,
which is all sweaty, nurgling demon.
Yeah.
Horribleness.
I was sort of not content with my my mortal Nurgle team. I decided to bring in some demonic reinforcements.
Oh, but they go so well together.
I know, yeah, and I'm going to be able to use quite a lot of the same kind of painting techniques.
Yeah.
So whilst I'm in the groove of painting disgusting things, I may as well.
If you're painting one team, you might as well paint 2.
Exactly. I mean, these are just such a characterful team. So your 0 to 16 option is Nurglings.
Yep.
20k, 5, 1, 2, 6. They've got the kind of usual right stuff, titchy, stunty, Nurgle's Rot and Foul Appearance and Dodge. But the big one for them.
This is so good.
They come with Guard.
So these guys are 20k. They're Strength 1. They're Edge 2, and they're Armor 6. So they are garbage. They're titchy, so they're dodging around on a 3+ everywhere, which is cool. They've got Foul Appearance, so you have to roll a 2+ to punch them. Yeah. And they've got Dodge, so if you do punch them, they're slightly more likely. But they gang up. So you've got like 10 of these guys, and they're just getting +1, +1, +1, and you're being run over by a bunch of Nurglings with a bunch of Strength 4 blocks. If you get ganged up on, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. And obviously, then the next positional, who they're going to be really good at supporting.
0 to 6 as well.
0 to 6 is the Plague Bearers, who aren't too dissimilar from, say, Saurus in some regards, in that they've got Strength 4, and you can get 6 of them.
Oh, these aren't they? They look like bloaters.
So they've got 5, 4, 2, 9. Yeah, thick skull. Sorry. Although I imagine their skin is a little bit kind of rubbery as well.
I imagine their skull's that hard.
Thick skull, regenerate, foul appearance, disturbing presence, Nurgle's Rot. So yeah, you are right there. Very similar to bloaters, but they've also got that thick skull as well.
So do bloaters have regenerate as well?
Yep.
Oh, they do. So they've just got that thick skull upgrade. Movement 5. I think the Nurgle Warriors are movement 4.
Bloaters are only 4. Yeah.
So for 20k more, you get regen and an extra movement, and you can have up to 6.
Yeah, and I mean, just imagine having them with the Nurgling guard support.
A couple of Nurglings on there.
Quite formidable, I reckon.
They're basically strength 6.
Yeah.
So in this tournament, the Demons of Nurgle team, I think, was tier 2. So you would get 4 skills, one of them could be a double. That means you can have 4 Plague Bearers with block, and a couple of fun skills chucked on there, maybe reserved for the big guy that we'll get to in a minute. But 4 blocking guys with armor 9, and then, you know, then these guard minions surrounding him. That's such a fun team.
Yeah, it's great.
Have you got the Plague Bearers for this?
Yeah, I've got the Plague Bearers.
You've got them?
Yeah, I've got 6 of them.
Oh, sweet.
I think I've got 8 or so Nurglings.
Yeah.
And then the next step is just looking at what I can use for this next player, which is the Great Unclean one.
So 0 to 1 for this.
So yeah, 200k. His stats are 3, 6, 1, 10.
So a fast treeman. It's
Yeah.
a treeman with move 3.
But
basically.
that AV10 is huge.
It is. It's massive. And I bet he's got regenerate as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at these skills. He's got Loner, Bonehead.
Okay.
So, fine. Regeneration, Thick Skull, Disturbing Presence, Foul Appearance, all pretty Nurgly stuff. Mighty Blow, Nurgle's Rot, Stand Firm, Monstrous Mouth.
Monstrous Mouth.
And this is the great one, Throw Teammate.
So the Great Unclean one, despite being an absolute powerhouse himself, can throw those Nurglings around, which is awesome. Monstrous Mouth is interesting. It's the protection of Sure Hands without the reroll. So Strip Ball doesn't do anything against him.
Yeah, that's great. I mean,
it's a flavourful one.
He's never, unless you kind of get that lucky intercept or touchback.
Yeah.
You don't massively want him to have the ball with that movement 3 and Bonehead. But
no, definitely not. But they're not going to stop
being
him.
able to throw Nurglings is so cool.
And you know what? 1 guard Nurgling, strength 7. You're getting 3 die block on most normal players.
Yeah, yeah.
Only can stake strength skills on normal, but you know what skill he'd be great with? Multiple block.
Yeah.
Multiple block with those Nurglings who've come with integral
because
guard.
You apply that afterwards, don't you? So.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm blocking twice at strength 4, but I got 2 guards there, so I'm actually back up to strength 6. And, you know, it's just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, they do have an agility problem, this team.
They've only got Edge 2 everywhere. Yeah. So you kind of want to give a Plague Bearer Sure Hands, I reckon.
Yeah, or something that's going to... Because that's another interesting thing that seems to be a bit of a missing thing, is that they don't have mutation access either.
No, they don't, actually. That's quite interesting.
Which you'd maybe expect, but I suppose as they're kind of...
they've already got
apparitions of the warp, they've kind of got enough gifts from...
they're already soggy.
From Grandpappy.
Yeah. It's still quite cool. Reroll 70 and star players are just straight chaos for that. That's such a cool build.
Yeah, I love that team.
Did you budget for an unclean one in your build, or were you not sure?
I've played around with quite a few, but actually I think just a really good Plague Bearer Nurgling combo,
I think you're right,
is pretty good, because I think the Great Unclean one is very characterful, so I will get one for the team.
Yeah.
But in a tournament setting, I'm not sure he's going to really pull his considerable weight.
I think a Great Unclean one model would be just one of the Nurgling swarms.
Yeah, the stack of Nurglings.
The stack of Nurglings could be cool for that
model. That'd be cool. Preferably throwing one of them.
And you know what? At a 1.1 million build, you just get 5 free Nurglings. So you could probably build a pretty big team with that.
Yeah,
that's
you have a big bench which you'd need with those stats.
That's very cool. So we're going to talk about one more team, and this is the runner-up, or at least the other team I'm building that I'm not sure what to go with. Blood Dragon team. So it's a vampire team, but the Blood Dragon bloodline were warriors. So these guys were slaughterhouses in Warhammer.
Yeah, they're the kind of martial discipline.
But they are heavy plate armor. So they've got 0 to 16 thralls, 40k, 6337 thrall, standard guys. They can also take up to 4 zombies, 40k, 4328 regenerate. The idea being is actually you buy 2 or 3 of those, you chuck them on the line, they just take those punches.
So yeah, once they've sucked the thralls dry, they bring them back
as zombies
and
put them on the line. But the cool thing about this build is you get 0 to 2 Graveguard, which are whites basically. They're slower than whites, but you know, 80k, 5329 regenerate blocks. So you do get 2 armor 9 blockers, and then up to 6 Blood Dragon vampires, who are 100k, movement 6, movement 6 are strength 4, agility 3, armor 9. So your normal vampire, but they've lost an edge, gained that armor.
Yes.
Makes sense. And they go into the detail of how this team was built and why they were built that way. It's like they're not any less agile than vampires, they're just wearing heavy plate, which is fair enough.
Yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
But they come with Regenerate, normal, Hypno Gaze, which is going to be less effective with Edge 3, so it's only working on a 4+. Bloodlust, standard for vampires, but they come with Mighty Blow. Strength 4, Armor 9, Mighty Blow, and then as a tournament, you can chuck a couple of block and you get a couple of Strength 4, Movement 6, Mighty Blow block guys. That's what was tempting. And you've got those couple of slow blitzers to support. It just seemed like a really interesting build.
Yeah.
They get standard vampire stars, but I don't think you're looking to take star players in this build. You're just looking to take 3 vampires. Because you need to have those thralls in there. And it's a vampire team with 4 positionals. That's what I found interesting.
Yeah.
Because all the other vampire teams really only have 2, maybe 3, with some of the other ones. Like Lamians basically get human players, which is quite cool. But the Blood Dragon vampires take the idea of taking 3 guys with Mighty Blow block and then having a horde of other minions to swarm it up. It's quite cool. So I built some models. I built some models for that. What do you reckon to that team?
Yeah, it's really fun. I like it. I kind of flip-flopped on my thoughts about the loss of the agility, but as someone who's kind of played a lot of humans, you get around it, don't you?
You do.
Agility 3 is not bad.
So one thing I've seen from doing 7 Super Series is we've got a Chaos team in there and they've got no rerolls and no ball handling skills, and they win games. And you know what? You've got the players, you've got the strength, you've got removal, but you know what's also quite good? A strength 4 blocking armor 9 ball carrier.
Because Mighty Blow.
Yeah, actually it takes a lot to blitz that.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do quite well. I don't think they will be a powerhouse. I don't think they are. They are rated as tier 1, but that's for league play. Tournaments, I don't think there's nothing there that makes you think, man, these guys are unstoppable. But I do think they would be competitive and they would give a different game, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're very dependent on the skill ups you give them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, you can do some great things with those blood dragons.
Yeah, and as in a league, you build them up.
Yeah, so I can see where in a league setting
they'd be better.
They can kind of get over that loss of agility pretty quickly with the right skills.
Yeah, and then the dream is just a single edge up. So those are 3 of the 20 extra teams that you can run in Tombstone Tournament. So if you're able to come and you fancy it, we're in Poole Saturday the 26th of October. Everything you need to know is on our website, boneheadpodcast.com. In tournaments, Tombstone Tournament 1. It should be a really fun event. I know there's a lot of guys looking forward to it already. You get a chance to bring some evil teams or build your own, and it should be a really good event. Ian, just pop to the show notes and make sure we've covered everything we wanted to cover in that topic.
Okay.
Briefly wanted to touch on the meta, but we simply don't know what it's going to be.
No, I mean, initial impression would be that the known teams on the whole will do better.
Yeah.
Like you've got your Chaos in there.
Yeah, I think Chaos will be quite strong.
And people know how to use them.
Necro are doing really well everywhere at the moment.
Yeah.
But they're I don't know if they're tier 1 or tier 2. I think they're tier 2 still.
Yeah,
Necro are tier 2. So they still get that extra skill. And the only tier 1 teams are Chaos Dwarves and Undead, classic Undead, as well as some of the fancy Secret League, including the Demonettes of Slaanesh, which you mentioned, and the Blood Dragons, and the Ethereal team, which we've covered in a previous episode.
But I mean, Chaos could come undone if they run into some of those Chaos Halfling chainsaws, for example.
Yeah.
And, things happen.
I just think it will be a good, fun day where people get to play some different teams and some different games.
Definitely.
Yeah, fantastic. Right. If we've covered everything there, then we'll move on to our star player. Right. Our star player, who is eligible for a couple of Stunty League teams, but for Tombstone, he's eligible for the Chaos Halflings, and he fits with them just right. It is Mincmeat, the Mad Butcher. So this mighty, mighty dude is a halfling chef that's just lost his mind, and so he's designed for the Stunty League. Stunty League is a fumble derivative of Blood Bowl where it's just a bunch of teams with strength 1, strength 2 players. It's like, if you like playing Stunty, you will love the Stunty League.
Yeah, I love some of the teams in there. Like, you've got the kind of Fey teams. You've got
the Fey team's cool, but the Squig team.
Oh yeah.
Which I ran
They're very whimsy. It's a very whimsy league.
Oh, it's fun.
Great set of teams.
It's so fun.
Really good.
Yeah. So he's designed for that environment. But in Tombstone, you can run him in a normal environment, which will be interesting. So he is 80,000, 5236. So standard halfling, loner, dodge, right stuff. So again, yeah, what you expect from a halfling star player, and he's 80k, but he comes with stab and multiple block.
Yeah, that's great fun.
So in a stunty environment, you deploy him on the line, and he just has 2 cracks at rolling basically a 7 or an 8 on 2d6.
Yeah.
The odds are you're going to get one of them, maybe 2, and it's just so fun. And he's only 80k, and there's no secret weapon.
No, it's brilliant.
Which is the best bit, is that if he doesn't die, because there's a good likelihood he will die, you can still risk having him on the line. And because he's got multiple block with stab, that strength bonus, which you mentioned earlier, just doesn't happen.
No.
So he's just stab. Now, in the Stunty League environment, I think that's great. And Rich has played you with his
Forest
Goblin team with the stickers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've got multiple block or
they don't have multiple block. They've all got stab.
You played him with your goblins.
Yeah, I think what was it? His first stab was against one of my trolls. Took it out.
Oh my gosh!
So, great, turn 1.
That is brutal.
No troll. So yeah, that was. So, but I think it's one of those things where it's all about just rolling the dice. And the more that you can roll the dice, the more that something is just going to come off.
What was it that the manager of Games Workshop used to call it in Southampton?
It's the law of more.
The law of more, which is basically every Orcs playbook.
Anyone who plays Orcs is familiar with that one. Multi block and stab. I mean, you've got him on the line, and even if there's 2 AV7, AV8 players,
still worth
you've got a decent enough chance of downing one of them.
Or he just pulls it off and just
goes for it.
Now 80k is not a lot in a 1.1 million team build.
Nope.
I think he's cheaper than a Dark Elf Assassin. I think they're about the same price. So that is cool. And multi-block stab is something that we will probably see at Tombstone with the ethereal build, where they're wraiths, banshees, wraiths. Somebody has stab. And there's at least one coach that's planning on giving at least one multiple block on it, which again is going to be really fun. So for 80k, he could give that team that just like, oh, what's happened? Oh, my line's gone.
It's a chance, isn't it? It's just having that.
Now he's strength 2, but he does have dodge, so there is a chance he can survive.
I mean, yeah, in all likelihood, he's likely to pull that trick off once
and
then go down.
Yeah.
But if you get one of those players down and another one can come in and blitz the other one out the way. And you can protect him.
I don't think he can play for that Nurgle team. But having all those guard Nurglings around would be awesome.
That'd be brilliant.
So yeah, that's our star player. I'm hoping to take him to Tombstone unless I give up and go with the vampires. But it's such a good modelling opportunity as well. Lovely. That wraps it up for everything we want to talk about today. So Ian, thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure
for joining us tonight. and no, it's been good fun. And hopefully we'll have you back on the next episode.
Yeah, hope to be back on soon. Yeah.
Wonderful. Guys, thank you very much for listening, for joining us, for watching, if you've watched it on YouTube. And come back next week where we will have Lewis with us to talk about lizards.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it should be good. Thanks very much for supporting the show, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers.